finally, probably what I consider the most important lesson of this program, and that is about banking and about learning how banking works. So once again, your Scotch tape is going to come in very handy if you have no other way of posting things. This really needs to be up very visibly so that every one of them can see it very, very clearly. And I would keep referring to it. If you have a pointer, that would be helpful. You don't need it, but that would be useful. So you're going to be talking about the different sections of this poster. And one of the things, there are a couple of things that are specifically important that they're not too familiar with. One is that they have to make sure that they put their numbers in the correct columns. You know, they may start writing numbers over here for $50. Well, you need to make sure that they've got the 0 zeros here. This is the decimal, it's pretty visible, and the 50 goes here. So they need to put them in the correct columns, including the total. On a check, one of the things that I have the hardest time with, that I keep reminding them about, is that a signature is not your printed name. It is your script cursive name. Now, many of them still cannot write cursive at third grade level, so then they can do it in print, but they have to learn and know that your legal signature is not a printed name unless you cannot write in script. You have to write your name, and that's what your signature is. And they also need to learn how to write out the amount of a check in words. So again, this, I would repeat this as many times as I need to, and then go over here and begin to start showing them, you know, how this all works together, how you record everything that you spend and everything that comes in, your deposits and your. So again, don't hesitate to take a little while on that, because that's critical. Now, this is the fun part. It's a challenge too. Be sure that you have all of these separated into separate bundles before you go to this class. Again, you'll be going crazy if you don't. One of the things that I've done that has worked pretty well is I've used a couple of the extra name tents, and I have printed one that says newspaper, one that says restaurant, one that says bank. And I stand them up on the desks of the 3 students that have been designated to do that. Now, I will tell you that there may be lots of kids who want to do it, but if they're not kids who can do it quickly and accurately, it's going to take forever, and you will not have enough time. What I've done is ask the teachers sometimes to recommend 3 students who might be able to do this well, and that's worked very well. And then they can rotate out and go, and 3 other students can take their places. But one student is, as you know, has to be the banker, one has to be the restaurant, and one has to be the newspaper. And so they each get these pieces. Take your time to instruct those 3 students on their specific jobs. Make it very clear, because it's not easy. They don't know what to do unless you tell them. So be very, very clear with your instructions on how they should function. And if you've got, and you will have bright students who can handle that very well. Once they know what to do, they'll be meticulous about it, and that'll be great. And the other thing is that each of the students then, too, is going to, once again, learn what they had seen on your posted wall, and after they've experienced it, they can fill these out as well. Once again, a deposit slip, a check, and a check register. And be sure that they put in the check number that is actually on their check here. Their payroll check is, sometimes I've found that there's a couple of different numbers that come up in these materials. So be sure they're using the accurate number there. So, again, I can't stress enough that clarity of instructions for them is really, really critical to make it work really well. And finally, what I like to do at the end of each of the programs is to, there'll be several things they'll be bringing home this time. They'll keep their buildings, and they'll keep the magnets that you gave them at the beginning. But I also want to have them experience a little bit of a graduation. They may have graduated from kindergarten, but once again, I would have printed this in advance, and then I would call each student up at the end of the program and say, you're officially graduating from junior achievement this year. Call them up one by one, shake their hand, and hand them a certificate and say congratulations, and have all of the class congratulate them. And they seem to really enjoy that, which is kind of their moment to shine. So, have fun with grade 3.